Hello, and welcome to The Ordeal. Today I'm going to talk to you about the Tauntaun and how it's ruining Star Wars. Yes, this fuzzy little creature right here is ruining Star Wars. Not this, and not this. Now, before I get started, I just want to say that I love Star Wars. It is one of the coolest things ever. I grew up on Star Wars, and the franchise in general has had a significant impact on my life. Now, in full disclosure, I am not a biologist or an evolutionary scientist. So if you are, please go down into the comments and explain to me how I am either right or wrong in regards to this analysis. So, you probably all know that this is a Tauntaun. And you might be thinking, what the heck, Dean? Oh, what do you have against Tauntauns? They were part of my favorite episode of Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. They're totally cool. I know, I know. And hear me out, because I actually like Tauntauns too. My issue is not actually with the Tauntaun, but rather with what the Tauntaun is supposed to be. What's the Tauntaun supposed to be, you might be asking? A lizard! This entry is from the Wikipedia Tauntaun page. I left a link in the description, and if you don't know, Wikipedia is a Star Wars online encyclopedia. There is a link to that in the description as well. I was first told that the Tauntaun was a lizard by watching this video here, and I'll leave a link to that too. The Tauntaun is not a lizard. It cannot be. It is a physical impossibility. First of all reptiles are cold-blooded, and a lizard is a reptile. It is one of the defining characteristics of reptiles that they are cold-blooded. This means they are as warm as their surroundings. Hoth isn't warm at all, so Tauntauns would be a frozen block of ice were they to go to Hoth. For example, here on Earth, lizards inhabit every continent except Antarctica, because Antarctica is too cold. I am from the northern US. There are no lizards there where I'm from. It is too cold in the north of the United States. The only reptiles I ever came across when I was living up there were turtles and snakes. And both of them hibernate somehow, or do something called brumate. Either way, they are not moving around a lot because they are too cold during the winter. Yet we see Tauntauns running at high speed on Hoth. Furthermore, Tauntauns have fur. Lizards don't have fur. Why don't lizards have fur? Because fur doesn't do any good if you are cold-blooded. Fur is an evolutionary adaptation to help keep in body heat. Cold-blooded animals do not produce body heat, so fur is pointless for them. Now, one other thing is the anatomy of a tauntaun. It is the same anatomy of mammals. So, they have fur like mammals, and they have the same bone structure as mammals. Now, this is actually an important factor in determining what kind of animal a creature is. Look at the structure of the leg of the tauntaun here. Pay close attention to the orientation of the knee and the ankle. Notice how this is streamlined along the side of the body and the knee points forward. This is the case for all mammals. Here we have the cat, we see the bone structure. Here's the horse, same bone structure. And here we have a monkey, it has the same bone structure there too. All mammals have this forward pointing knee with the leg that is streamlined along the side of the body. Now look at the lizard. Notice the leg sticks out from the side of the body. This gives the lizard a side-to-side motion when it crawls. This is similar to the way a fish moves, indicating that a lizard is more closely related to a fish than the mammals are. Notice the side-to-side motion of the fish's body as it swims. The side-to-side motion in the lizard's crawl is even pointed out on Wikipedia. It's that important of a characteristic of lizards. Notice how this lizard here runs. Due to the alignment of the mammals' legs, mammals have an up-down motion when they crawl or walk or run. Notice the horse trotting, its body has a subtle up-down motion to it. Now back to the lizard. Its body does not move up and down as it runs, but it does move side to side. We can see that right here. Now let's look at the tauntaun running. Notice it also has an up-down motion to its movement. So we see the tauntaun is not a lizard. It simply doesn't match the characteristics of a lizard. Now, it could be some other classification or order of animal that does not exist on Earth. The Tauntaun could have characteristics of lizards and still be warm-blooded, but that is not a lizard, it is some other type of animal. Now, judging by the Wikipedia entry for Tauntauns, I get the impression that from the very beginning, Tauntauns were supposed to be lizards, but the creators either didn't have a firm grasp on biology and physiology or simply didn't care. But this sort of thing bothers me because you have to have a base of operations for your stories. You simply cannot say, well, this is fantasy, so anything goes. Stories have to operate within certain limits so that there is an understanding of what will cause harm. We enjoy stories because we get emotionally invested in them, and emotional investment comes from understanding that there are stakes to the characters' lives. If there are no stakes, there is no tension, and the story becomes boring. Not that I'm pointing any fingers. Now, I do want to take a moment to point out that birds are warm-blooded, and some scientists classify birds as reptiles. So perhaps it isn't fur that the Tauntauns have, but rather feathers. This slight deviation in the description of the Tauntaun could make it a close relative of lizards, but give the warm blood, the warm body it so desperately needs to survive on Hoth. And if we notice, the Tauntaun already has an overall body structure similar to that of many birds. However, the Tauntaun does not have a beak, and the beak is one of the defining characteristics of birds. So it can't be a bird either. In fact, the Tauntaun has teeth, something that birds do not have. So it's not a lizard, it's not a bird. It's probably an animal that only exists in a galaxy far, far away. Anyway, that being said, I hope that we can correct these issues with one of the greatest franchises of all time. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Click the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.